Om Pratar Smarami Hridhi Sansfuradatma Tattvam Satchit Sukham Paramaham Sagatim Turiyam Yat swapna jagara shushub tamavaiti nityam tad brahmanishkalamaham nacha bhuta sangha. I meditate in the mornings within my heart on the self-effulgent Atman. Existence, consciousness, bliss, absolute. The goal of the greatest ascetics, the transcendent and the eternal. The Atman is beyond the states of waking, dream, and deep sleep. I am verily that indivisible Brahman and not a combination of material elements. So the verse, part of the hymn written by Shankaracharya. Connecting with the divine. Before we can connect, I like to spend a few moments reminiscing about the 16th president of the Ramakrishna order who passed away last month, on the 26th. He was Swami Smarananda. On my visit to India last year, I had met him in August, and I could see that he has withdrawn himself. Not surprising. He was 94, and my earliest contact with him was, I'd met him, was in 1988 or 89, probably 1988. Of course, that first meeting with him, I was told how nice and great he is, etc., etc. I was very young and I said, okay. But it was an embarrassing meeting. I mean, he never embarrassed me in front of everybody, but later on he told. But one of the things that I noticed about him was his large ears. Amazing. That was one of the distinguishing features. And in the scriptures, it is said that this indicates a divine nature. Yes, Sri Ramakrishna had very long ears and long arms also. All the incarnations, they come with very long arms. They reach up to the knees. Let's see if you're, not mine. So there are certain indications mentioned in the scriptures, people with divine nature. So that was the first, oh my God, I said. But he was so down to earth and so sweet to everybody. And he was very easily approachable. And it gave off a feeling that, okay, that greatness never dawned on us when we used to interact with him. So over the years, I've met him, I've been with him in the Himalayas also. And when he was growing old also, he used to hold my hand and walk around. So one of those, when he was very young, even before he joined the order, he used to go on the beach, a sea beach, and sit down and look at the waves and the skies and the vast seas. And he used to look at the rocks around him, huge rocks, saying, everything is so huge and I'm such a tiny creature on the face of the earth. And he used to contemplate on this one day, saying, it's like a kind of a voice, it's a very forceful voice, and it remained with him all through. Says, yes, the vast world is there outside, but there is within you something that is even vaster than this world and which is its essence. That completely transformed him. And he lived a life so dedicated to Swamiji's ideal of for one's own realization of the Atman and for the good of the world. Atmano mokshartam jagadhitaya. He did that. I mean, he was a model for all of us. He was born in 1926, 29, on Christmas Day, at the place called Andami in the district of Tanjavur, Tamil Nadu. He joined the order when he was 20, and he served in various capacities. First in Mumbai, then in Calcutta, Advaita Ashrama, then beside Belur Math, there's a huge center called Sharda Peeth. And wherever he went, there was a kind of magical touch about him. He made things flourish. And people, of course, everyone of us who have been in touch with him have attested to the fact that he let people grow. You know, there are some people, great people, who kind of, they stunt us. When we go, we are kind of, in awe of them. So with him, that speciality was there. He let everybody grow. I remember one time I was in the center which was dedicated to Advaita Vedanta. So I went and made my obeisance, pranams to him. He was the general secretary then. And then he said, oh, Advaita. So he quoted Advaitam Paramarthohi. Then I completed Dvaitam Tad Bheda Uchyate. That Advaita is transcendental. Then I completed that. Duality is the differences there found. And then I got up and I was leaving. Hey, wait, come here. Complete the rest of the verse. Then I Tesham Ubhayat Advaitam Tenayam Na Viruddhate. And he was very happy. That is, the Advaitans say, we have no quarrel with the dualist for them because everything for them is duality. So, and he looked at me and said, okay, yes, please. He was a wonderful scholar, great depth, and even in his, even when he was very busy, he used to teach brahmacharyans. He used to get people to come and teach as monks and arrange all. So he was, though he was busy with hundreds of things, yet he maintained that inner poise. And you could see his life was guided by the great ideals of Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother and Swamiji. It's an amazing life. And one of those people who I'm fortunate to have met in this life. I've been enriched through that interactions. It's amazing. So I could go on and on and on. I say, decades and decades of reminiscences. But he was always kind, and I said he remembered each and every one who we met. Only towards the end he was not very sure about his memories. Was getting weak. He had a wonderful memory, amazing, and very intelligent. Oh my God! When he was the general secretary, he used to look at you, and if there had been a complaint and all the troubles, and I used to call the guy, he looked at you and say, "Okay, tell me what you have done," and you couldn't avoid that. You had to split out. And he was so impartial and so kind. It's amazing. He never sent anyone to punished anybody. But he was a wonderful administrator. So it's very rare to have these qualities. So we could see that this is a person who's completely connected with the divine. So today in Belur Math and all the other centers of the Ramakrishna order all over the world, there is a special worship and a fire sacrifice, and when monks passed, of big feast. So we join the worldwide, you can say, celebrations. It's a celebrated life to honor this great soul, Swami Smarananda. And he was a linguist. He knew many languages. I mean, so fluently. That was another amazing. Okay, now to come back to our topic, connecting with the divine. Well, that is, in these days of people talk about loneliness and alienation, we see that we are not connected to something or somebody. Or even if we are connected, we still feel lost. And as you keep on getting connected, especially with the divine, it's a very transformative and a very enlightening, you can say, experience. So what's the connecting with the divine? The divine is your own higher self. That is one thing. So where is the higher self? We understand the self here. And this self is called the jiva, the living self, or it's called the jiva Atman, the individual soul. Now, people have some crazy ideas about individual soul. It is a composite of your body, your senses, your mind, your intellect, your morality, everything combined together. All your past experiences goes to make this living entity, you, me, and everybody. And since we are here, like living here, so we are under laws, material laws. The whole world is under law. All matter is under law. And people have a strange idea that mind also is not under law. No, it is also under law. There are various laws governing the mind also. That we have discussed these things in the various aspects of yoga. So they discussed this. So this material self is bound by laws. And there are hundreds of laws operating. So this individual, the jiva, the living entity, has to be bound by laws. but the higher self. Now, where is the higher self? Somewhere here, there, in this temple, in that mosque, in this synagogue, in this church? No. Yeah, later on. It is within here. And the search has to be here, within. Now, a little disclaimer about, I'm not talking about shamans and other mystics who connect you to something, some divine realm, or connect you to some dead. Because, and you get answers and you pose questions and this and that and solve your troubles and problems and all, want to see your future. That is not the connection that we are talking about. The word divine itself is used differently by different people in different contexts. So, what is that? The divine. The word itself has come from the word div, to shine. The word div itself comes from the word div. The devas are the shining ones, the bright ones. They are within us. So this divinity, it's a source of your consciousness and your existence. Because people are now searching for what is consciousness and what is the reality. They will never be able to find consciousness because they are trying to find it within the laws, material laws. And this transcends all material laws. So, but then we have an intuitive feeling, yes, there's something divine. Okay. So let's proceed with this tentative explanation of what the divine is. Those who walk in through the doors will see the quotation of Swami Vivekananda. Each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest this divine within by controlling nature, external and internal. Do this either by work, or worship, or psychic control, or philosophy, by one or more, and be free. Temples and doctrines and dogmas are all secondary details. So this has been the primeval search of the human mind. Somewhere it has to go back to its source. So what is meant by potentially divine? Vedanta says, you're already divine. So what about me? But I think of me as a human being and in interacting in this world. That's your problem. My problem is everybody's problem. Yes, it's everybody's problem. And that is because of ignorance, Maya. You are divine and you are thinking yourself human. So Vedanta goes down to the very root. Your mistake. So what do? Correct that. So in that sense, it is called potentially divine. The seed, the germ is there within you. And you have to start manifesting it. The goal is to manifest it. And like Sri Ramakrishna says in his homely style, the goal of human life is to see God. What? Who? We thought it was making a few millions or billions or whatever and be happy. No. But that has been tried for the last 10,000 or more years. It hasn't worked. But yet we don't learn those lessons. And then he says, do this either by work or worship or psychic control or whatever, and philosophy. The path of Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raja Yoga, and Jnana Yoga. These are the means by one or more, or all of these. So this is what Swamiji says. By controlling nature, external and internal. How do you control nature, external nature? The body is part of that nature. You have to control your body and control your mind. Like I said, you have to control all these things. By how? Yeah, there are these laws, but these laws can be transcended. So we think, when I was very young, I used to say, controlling nature and external and internal. What do you control the earthquakes and control the volcanoes? And no. This body is a part of external nature. It has to be. And the mind also is a part of nature. We have the idea that the mind is something separate from nature. No, it is part of nature, because nature has these two aspects, the gross, the physical, and the subtle. This is our bodies and minds are this world. And so we need to control this. Why do we need? Because it will stop the waves of that misperception. Like Vedanta says, yeah, ignorance or avidya, but that is deflecting our perceptions in another direction and making us see things and believe things which are not real. So you have to control both nature, external and internal. Okay. Now, controlling nature. Now the problem comes like, how do we control it? This controlling the external world, the body and mind, etc., cannot be done with the ordinary mind. For the simple reason is, because our life has become so superficial, so artificial, so isolated from everything else, that we don't see the greater aspect of our lives around. We have are living in a vacuum. The second thing that happens is, when we try to connect with the divine, we are confronted with our own self-images. Where are the self-images? Oh, these self-images are there within. We have created our various self-images. We won't go into the details. In fact, I spoke about it last year. There are 6 self-images. So there are layers and layers. So you've got to dismantle them one by one. Of course, the first image, of course, is the physical self is in your brain, hardwired in your brain. And then there are various, the grandiose self and the moral self and the intellectual self and all these. Okay. So this is the first way we need to connect with nature. We cannot connect because of these self-images that obstruct you. So you need to connect with, do meditation. With a peaceful environment, you have to first, paradoxically, you have to first connect with nature. If you're going to control nature, you have to first connect with nature. We are not connected, we are disconnected. We are disconnected with everything, of course. Only with certain things that run in my head also. So as this idea of this physical self, the living physical self, expands, it is much more easier to manipulate it than when it is confined to just me and my. The ego has to be broken. Otherwise the ego is only identifying itself with this is. It has to disengage with this and see things around. So that is one thing. First, connect with nature, connect with people. Many people come and say, oh, you see, my mind is very restless. I cannot meditate. How long have you been trying? For the last 30 years. The mind has become so small, and that's why it's restless. When your heart and your mind has expanded, you become at peace with people and around. Yeah, that was another lesson I learned from another great monk. So once you start expanding yourself, then you know you can bring in the connections, how connected you are to nature and to people. Things happening anywhere in the world have had indirect, you can say, impact on you. It cannot be otherwise, because we are part of this whole network. Nature is networked, and amazingly. So until and unless the living self feels that it has grown out of its small, you can say, hole of existence. Swamiji had, in one time, he had spoken about, there was a Chinaman who was freed by the new emperor, because the emperor coronation, all political prisoners. So he came out of the dungeon after 50 years. And the guards pushed him out. And he stepped out in the bright sunlight and he was blinded. He closed his eyes. And they said, no, take me back. He said, no, there's a new emperor and you're free now. You can leave. You're free to lead your life. No, I don't want to. I'll die out here in the sun. Let me go back to my dungeon with my lice and with my fleas, with the dirt, the stench. He was put there. So many of us are like that. You see the great, you can say, existence spread around us. And we say, no, let me go down there. Let me live and die there. That kind of mind will never be able to meditate. Okay? Because we are meditating, we meditate on the body only, or on certain thoughts that run in our mind. Our meditation is more or less like that only. Instead of meditating on the reality, we meditate. So what happens? The first thing is you start awakening your intuitions. There are tremendous intuitive powers within the mind that starts awakening. And this is very important for meditation and connecting with the divine. Okay. Then you will find, when you're connected, you will find everything has a kind of a place. You'll find the connections and the coincidences also. You'll find things not strange anymore. You'll find everything has its place. People and everything in this world has their place of existence here in this realm. And that's very liberating. Your heart becomes broad. Then the content of your dreams will change. No longer will you dream of the mundane things. A higher form of dreams will come to you. You will always go around with a kind of a warm sensation in your heart. Yeah. I mean, not your physical heart. That will create some other problem. But in the core of your being, you'll find a kind of a very warm, loving feeling. And it's like, even the slightest, you can say, thing that you see that touches you deeply gives you a kind of a thrill, a spiritual thrill, of course. And so these are the signs that you are connected with the world at large. Okay. And there are, of course, many other things. We will not go into that. After this preparation to reinforce our connections with everything around, then you start plunging into connecting with the divine. And what is that? The Kathopanishad says, a wise person gives up happiness and sorrow by developing concentration of mind on the Atman and thereby meditating on the ancient deity that is inscrutable, lodged inaccessibly, located in the intellect, in the heart, and seated in the midst of misery. Seated in the midst of misery, the body and the senses are called misery. This is a technical term, of course. Of course, we know that. Those rishis, they knew that. So this is what Vedanta will tell you. This is how you've got to begin. You're giving up all happiness and sorrow. Gives up happiness and sorrow. How? By developing concentration of mind on the Atman and meditating on that ancient deity. Now, what's a deity? The Atman is that ancient one there within. It has been with you forever, and it's not going to leave you. It's going to be there. Somehow we have become disconnected, and so Sri Ramakrishna says, like, even Swamiji is saying, mother let us out to play, and the play became a task, and we are weeping and wailing. So we have become disconnected, disassociated from the Atman, and we are being moving around in this samsara. And there comes a time when you can go back inside. There comes a time in everybody's life. Everybody's life. There will come a time when you need to take that journey back. So from the standpoint of, so that is Adhyatma Yoga. That's the word used in the Upanishad. So the verse is Tam dur darsham gudam anupravishtam. It's a beautiful word. I won't burden you with something that is foreign to you. It's a very Sanskriti verse. Guha hitam gavvareshtam puranam. Adhyatma Yoga. Say, the word used is Adhyatma Yoga, the internal yoga. So when I was talking about connection, the other word used is for connection is yoga, union of the individual, the living entity that we are, and the Supreme Self within. That's the connection. That's the yoga. So this is done by the Vedantins. Okay. From the standpoint of yoga, okay, that also is a kind of, it is difficult in the sense of, the sages say the sense organs are superior to the body, of course. Yeah, imagine a body without a sense and motor. Sensory and motor organs is just impossible. What are you going to do with it? Useless. So the sense organs are superior to the body. And then the scripture goes, the mind is superior to the sensory and the motor system. The intellect is superior to the mind. The one that is superior to the intellect is that. Understanding the Atman as superior to the intellect and completely saying, yes, and completely immersing oneself in absorption with the help of the purified mind. This is the goal. This is the path. So it's a verse in the Bhagavad Gita. Indriyani para yahur indriyabhya param mana manasastu para buddhi yo buddhi. So it's a, how do we go about it? People say, we go to the yoga studio and we go to this and with that. Yeah. The real yoga starts with first yoking, joining one thought with another, one emotion with another, going higher and higher and higher. Don't let everything scatter about. So as you keep on doing that, yoking one thought, one element, one aspect of yourself with another, higher and that is a process of integration. That is yoga. So as you proceed, you will find that you can now come to a stage where you can transcend the body, transcend the senses, transcend the mind. So in simple words is, yoke your body to the senses, yoke your senses to the mind, yoke your mind to the intellect, buddhi, and yoke the intellect, the purified intellect, to the Atman. This is the process. This is the process of yoga. So that is the standpoint of bhakti. The other day we are talking about, nowadays things are becoming so complicated. Wherever you do, whatever you do online, you need a password. Password. And there was a time when at least I had just one, and it was okay. And now, now we have password managers to make your life a little easier. The mantra is the password for the divine. You want to access divine? This. But how do we get a mantra? Now, the process is, as you begin to look for the reality or search the reality, what happens in most cases, I will not say all cases, most cases, there is an aspect of the divinity within us. All of us have different aspects of that reality. Some part of that reality is always with us. That begins awakening. That begins pushing you. So when the Guru sees you, he sees you, but that's a secondary perception. First, he sees that particular aspect of divinity, that deity. Like Sri Ramakrishna will say, I saw that he is born with an aspect of Rama or Shiva or the goddess or Vishnu or this. Every one of us are born, not born, We're born and reborn and reborn and reborn and hundreds of times. That aspect of that divinity is always with you. And it begins slowly waking up as you begin searching for the reality. Because the Upanishads also say that when you begin searching, that very aspect of the divinity called the Atman helps you and reveals itself to you. Yamevaisha vrinute tena. Only that person can realize the Atman, whose that aspect of the divinity is now awakened. And then you get a mantra, or whatever you come to understand that I like this particular aspect of divinity. Then you start doing that japa, the repetition of the gods, that aspect of God's name. So that aspect will lead you, connect you to a higher aspect of that divinity. So it's a journey. So this is the rationale behind japa. Why should we do japa? There was one Swami. He's now a Swami. We are both young, and they say, oh, every day we've got one mantra and that has to be repeated. It's like a deja vu. Every day, one. Could have had many. One for Monday, one for Tuesday, one. He was joking, of course. So it is one, but it is many. So in that mantra is the very seed of the universe. And as you repeat, you are unraveling that seed of the universe. There's a tremendous power there. And slowly, slowly this awakened. That is what is called the mantra becomes awakened. And then it takes over. It doesn't want your permission. It keeps on repeating itself. When you're sleeping, you're dreaming, you're working, you're walking, you're talking, that thing has taken over. That aspect of that divinity has taken over you. Then you can understand, okay, now I'm connected. And this connection will never break because it's divine connection. Karma Yoga, of course. We have Karma Yoga here and also at a retreat. So whatever you do, you have to use your willpower that I am doing this for my higher self. I don't need to pray also. Okay, at the end of the day, if you want, whatever I've done, I'm offering it to the Lord. Work with that awareness, work with the awareness of that higher aspect of the self. That this is going to lead me to that divinity, to connect with. An aspect of Karma Yoga is the puja. We have the various pujas. Those are kind of very structured way of connecting with the divine. And so that is also one way. And those who don't want to have anything to do with this external worship, everything that you do is karma. You breathe, you live, that is movement. Anything that moves is karma. So this world of constant movement is under the laws of karma. And how to know the secret of work is what is Karma Yoga. And you start by using your willpower and understanding that this work, whatever I've done, is an offering to God. Also, that I don't have to hanker for results. I keep on doing what I'm supposed to do as my dharma, swadharma it's called. I keep on doing this. I don't know when I'm going to get the results, and why should I bother? That has been the central theme in the 3rd and the 4th and the 5th chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so this is how we slowly get connected to the divine. Because Swamiji has said, do this either by work or worship or psychic control or philosophy, by one or more, and be free. So the divinity there within you is that freedom there within you, liberation. The concept of salvation doesn't come here. Question of liberation. So that is liberation, and that is existence, that is consciousness, and that is bliss. And it's a tremendous, you can say, state. You transcend this world, and like the most revered President Maharaj who passed away, that suddenly he's saying, he felt that that which is within is greater than this vast world outside. Once Swami Turiyananda, he spent many years in San Francisco and in Los Angeles, the East Coast as well. So he was traveling around India as an itinerant monk, and he saw people doing some useful things, something or the other. They are engaged in something. They're saying, I'm like a vagabond, useless, just wandering about like a parasite. So he was mulling over these thoughts, and he lay down under a tree. It was late night, and then saying something came out of him and slowly covered the whole world. And the voice inside says, see how great you are? One grain of truth covers a whole world of illusion. Get up. And he got up and he was feeling refreshed. All his anxiety and all his parasitic thoughts have all come. So that is the one grain of truth. If you get even one small aspect of your divinity within, you got it made. We'll stop here. Before we go, we'll take a few questions as well as makes a few announcements. This evening we have Ram Nam, of course. That's the first Sunday. And then 21st April, we have annual general meeting, and we would like to have all our members attend this meeting at the retreat at Tapovan. That's at 1 o'clock. And I will be speaking also a little on some spiritual talk. 13th of April, that's Saturday, we have a retreat again from 1 to 5 at Tapovan. Guided meditation, etc., QAs. 14th is Karma Yoga, the path to freedom. So I'll take this Karma Yoga aspect in extension. 14th also, that's Sunday, of course. We have a Vedanta singing group. We meet often, so at 4:30. We also have on the 28th, a very senior monk will be staying with us for a week, Swami Aparananda. So on the 28th, that's again the Sunday, he will be speaking on a spiritual talk. The wonderful Swami, we're all glad to have him here. So in fact, he told me, I'll speak on Sunday. And he also says, I'll speak, but don't worry, their Kundalini will not be awakened. I said, no, don't worry. We'll have trouble if their Kundalini is awakened. So we'll take the cue here. If we each have a different aspect of reality or divinity, so to speak, sounds like a duality. How do we break this ego we have connected to our physical? It is duality. Of course, the ego itself is an illusion. So, how do you break the duality? You break something which is real. And how do you break something which is unreal? Unreal, the ego is unreal. So, how do we break this ego? We have to connect it to. So, as I said, first, the ego is connected with just this. This is my world, my body. So, you have to break this first, just limitedness, and expand. Feel the pleasure and the pain of the world. Yes, let your heart grow larger and larger. Then the ego will not just identify with this, or this is mine or that. It belongs to the Lord. That is the best way to break this illusion. And then that aspect of the divinity will take over, don't worry. Right? Once you begin searching for it, I guarantee you, that's going to take over. I know you say it is true meditation, but specifically, how do we break this ego? Okay. If the ego, like I said, the ego was real, you would have gone and broken it. If this is a book or something like that, I could tear it, rip it. The ego is it's like a phantom. You try to search it here, because that's what neurology and all say. There's some sense of self is here. You try to search it there, it's not there. You try to find it in your feet, maybe it's there. And you try to, it's not there. So it's everywhere, and yet is nowhere. You know, people say, oh, ego, ego, ego. First I said, people say, okay, tell me where it is. I tell them, tell me where it is. Can you find? You've built your entire existence on this ego, but where exactly does it reside? We don't know exactly. So, first show me where the ego resides. And that's where Vedanta comes in. The first evolute of creation, when creation begins, the first thing is a cosmic mind. It's called a Mahat. The next thing that emerges from this cosmic mind is a universal sense of I, the universal ego. And from this universal ego, it's called Asmita, has come all matter in all its configurations, all the sense organs and this and that, and the entire creation has emerged from this I. Okay? And that's why wherever you see life, you will see there's an I. Even in a microbe, you try to kill it, it will try to avoid it. Even in a plant, even in birds, even in animals. There was a time when only humans are conscious and humans are... No. What a misleading kind of concept it was. This I is everywhere, in all creation. Everything has emerged from this I. It's in you, it's not only, it's in every cell. And this ego, there are billions and trillions of microbiome in everybody, including me. They also have their own separate ideas of existence. What makes you think that this is me? The microbiome, they will say, hey, no, this is me. I kind of sometimes joke, the bacteria have hijacked us to proliferate. We are just kind of carriers, vectors. But whose I is this? Then Vedanta says, it is the I of God. Yes, this cosmic mind belongs to God. This cosmic I belongs to God. That's why they say in Vedanta, God is in everything as the sense of I. The real I, not that small. So somehow we got disconnected from that, and then you find we have become, as I said, the ego. So the pure I, the pure Asmita is that God. That's why I said, when we are all aspects of that divinity, it means that. So I've gone to the very extreme of Vedanta, So is it true? Yes, it's true. It has to be true because it has been experienced for thousands of years. This is the Vedanta. Okay. So that's why you will not be able to find your own I. If you try to find your own I, you'll reach to God. It's like a bird trapped in a cage or a kind of a trap, whatever, small cage, and it's released. How does it feel? It's the same bird, but so this ego is a creation of this ego is a creation. The real I is the I of God. Okay. Yeah, astounding, amazing. But even dull, insentient matter like this, who said this? This was once a living, there was a tree. So what makes the things all dead? So it's like a pendulum. What is living and what is dead, and the food that you ate was dead. Now it has given you life. So there's no such thing as insentient. Everything is sentient. Yes, so that is. So you know now how to break this ego by understanding that all-pervading I that belongs to God. Okay. This is here Sri Rama pointed to the absolute, which Kabir ji says, "O Ramas." Yeah, okay, whatever. Thank you. Hey, there are Swamiji, Sri Ramakrishna is saying, and tremendously, what a tremendous, sometimes he has put things in such a beautiful way. Whether you know it or not, you are Rama. Whether you know it or not, you are the Atman. So this is what it is. The whole thing is not only 4 Ramas, everything is Rama. So whether you know it or not, tumi jano ya na jano, tumi Ram. You are Ram. So you are that. So you have to get connected with the divine. Okay. We stop here for the, we'll take questions here because that will be much convenient and much. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.